Hello everybody, welcome to episode 116 of Show Fever. Today we'll be going over episode 1162 of the One Piece anime. And this episode starts off with kind of a general recap of Loki's big description of Elbaf that happened in the previous episode. But then we see as him and Luffy are talking, ultimately he reveals to Luffy that, I'm imprisoned with these sea stone chains. So if you free me, go get the key and free me, then I will take out any pirate crew and absolutely decimate them that you want me to. And we see as they're kind of talking about this, and ultimately we then see as a group of beasts pull up, monstrous, towering beasts that are natives of the Elbaf underworld, which they refer to as the First World in Elbaf. And we also see as Loki's continuing to proclaim that he's the sun god like he was in the previous episode, which is obviously just to show that he believes he's the one who brings the destruction of Elbaf, rather than him actually believing he's the sun god, or claiming he'll bring the destruction of Elbaf. But yeah, so we see this, and then we see as a bunch of humans pull up. It's like 5 of them, and these humans are residents of the underworld as well, under the command of Loki, and they wear stench-covered cloaks to keep from getting eaten by the beast. But yeah, so they all pull up, and he's like, well, if you deny my request, I might have to allow them to munch on your bones a little bit. And so we see as Luffy ends up walking away as if he's going to go to the village and get the key, but he just walks up, tames the animals, they're messing with him and all that, chilling, and the humans are freaked out by all this, and Loki is obviously surprised. And then we see as they get talking, and one of them mentions red hair Shanks, and Luffy's like, oh, you know Shanks? And he runs up to Loki, he's like, yo, you know Shanks? And he's like, yeah, that cowardly pirate. And then we see Luffy snap, bro, instantly transforms into Gear 4, jumps up and about blasts, almost domes Loki and slobs, bro, with a calm gun, but Loki's able to dodge it. And he's like, yo, I was just joking, I was just kidding, just messing around. And then we actually don't get to the description of how him and Shanks actually knew each other. But we previously we did learn that Loki has been here for 6 years. And probably in the next episode we'll learn why he's here. Obviously, if you read the manga, you know why he's here and why he's in prison and what his relation with Shanks was. But yeah, so we see that, and they try to talk a little bit more, and ultimately we see as Luffy's like, yo, tell me more about the Shanks story, because he wants to know. And Loki's like, well, you won't have to pay for that if you want to know the Shanks story. So we have Luffy set up to now go and free Loki so he'll tell him the story of Shanks and their connection. And then after that we end up kind of panning away where we see the rest of the Straw Hats as they're so crossing the cross bridge, drawbridge, whatever you want to call it. It's not a drawbridge, but the swinging bridge. And as they're doing this, they start to feel an immense rumble. And this is some of the new giant pirates running across the bridge, and we actually get to see a little bit of Gerd. We get to see a little bit of Gerd, and then we get to actually get a better look at Roto. And everyone realizes, yo, that is the dude who held us captive in the Block Kingdom, because they realize, yo, he's smoldering. It looks like he got struck by lightning, perchance. Actually, Usopp comments on that, and Nami's like, lightning. And so then they deduce down that, yo, this is Roto, this is the dude who was claiming to be the sun god in the Block Kingdom. A lot of people claim to be the sun god in Elbaf for some reason. But yeah, so we see as he claimed to be the sun god, and he is continuing to run down this. And his color scheme is honestly kind of goofy, but I honestly mess with it kind of at the same time. But yeah, so we see that, and ultimately everyone's like, yo, if we don't want to get died, trampled, or get slung off this bridge, we gotta start running. So they all start skedaddling down the other side of the bridge. But yeah, so after that, we actually get a look at some more of the new giant pirates. We get to see Haruden, who we've already seen, and we saw that he successfully took down his moose or whatever it was that he was hunting out in the forest. And the person who was helping him hunt was Stanson. This is our first look at Stanson, who is the shipwright of the new giant pirates. But yeah. So we see this, and they're just kind of talking up and all that, and they are like, yo, how are we going to get this moose back? But ultimately they decide to just carry it, singing a song about Elbaf, and they start heading out. And then after this, we get kind of a full breakdown of the giant pirates. We get a cool panned-in shot of them and everything. And we see that we have Haruden, who is the captain, we have Stanson, who's the shipwright, we have Roto, who is the navigator, we have Goldberg, who is the cook, and we have Gerd, who is the healer or doctor. But yeah, that's kind of to break down the general roles of the new giant pirates who succeeded Brogy and Dory's giant pirate crew. But yeah, so after that, we end up seeing, as we go to the we end up going to the perspective of the rest of the rest of the Straw Hats that are still on the giant ship and all that, like Robin, Junbei, Frankie, and Brooke. And we see as Brooke is ready to style up Robin, give her a nice fade, And he's working on it. And ultimately, we see as everyone's like, "Yo, this looks really good." He's like, "I'm worried about it. I'm nervous." And Robin ends up looking at it, pausing for a second. He's like, "Oh, it's that bad," but no. Robin is obviously pleased by it because it is very reminiscent of the haircut she had when she ultimately met Saul. But yeah, so we see that everyone's kind of happy about this and everything. We see as Brooke cracks a couple of skull jokes or skeleton jokes, and then we see as we swap perspective once more, and we see that we actually don't know who this person is yet, but she's the librarian in Elbath, and the teacher. Well, she's not the librarian because Saul's the librarian, but she's like the teacher of the young Elbathians, the young giants. And we see as she's running around, she's like, "Yo, help, help, help!" Saul is collapsed and laying down. We get a panel of Saul just like laying down, like essentially looking dead. But yeah, that's all there really was for episode 1162 of One Piece. I really enjoyed it. I really loved seeing Luffy crash out on Loki just like instantaneously. So that was really cool to see. And honestly, this was all around, like, it was a very anticlimactic episode, but it's just a really good episode. All around, really solid. And I know we'll be getting some great backstory here in a little bit, so I cannot wait to see what the Toei Animation team has in store for us when it comes to that. But yeah, that's all there was for that episode. That's all I really have for episode 116 of Shelf Review. So thank you very much for watching.